blockbuster. And the ball belongs to Duke.
Anytime I hear Sonic, I think about the tots. The tots are great. And the tots are great in this game. Yep. Some great freshmen in blue.
4 of them in the starting lineup again. The same starting 5 for both teams. The 4 freshmen and the junior. And Marquise Bolden, who had a career game yesterday in the semifinals against Auburn. Reddish has the shot altered. And here come the Zags for the first time. Kispert all the way, but he missed the layup.
I think he was expecting Marquise Bolden to come and challenge the shot. And miss perhaps the easiest one he may get all game.
And here's the matchup. Williamson and Hachimura. Multiple chances for Duke. And finally converting is Williamson.
Well, you give them 5 chances, they're going to be able to convert at least 1. Gonzaga is going to have to get on the glass. Rebounding a huge factor in this game.
Gonzaga trailed Arizona by 13 in the second half yesterday before roaring back to win. And Rui Hachimura has them on the board with a 3.
Bolden got caught on Hachimura on a switch. And Hachimura took advantage of it.
Norvell behind the back. Too far ahead of Clark. And a missed opportunity for an easy 2 for Gonzaga.
You have to expect Gonzaga in this game to try to get some opportunities to isolate Marquise Bolden. Just a little bit too much frosting on that one when you just make the simple, easy play in a 2-on-1.
Boy, and he actually had Hachimura trailing as well. He had all kinds of options. Reddish misses a 3.
Both teams a little bit hyped up right now. Need to calm down just to make the right play.
Wide open, Brandon Clark.
And there it is. Whoever Marquise Bolden is guarding, they are going right after that matchup. Bolden couldn't get out to Brandon Clark out on the perimeter.
Clark, the transfer from San Jose State, has now made both of his 3s so far this young season. And Zion Williamson has both buckets for Duke.
So quick. Not just explosive, but quick as well, and he can move laterally.
Hachimura driving on Williamson, but he turns it over.
You know, for Gonzaga, it doesn't all have to come off of the first action. They can move the ball and then attack. But Zion Williamson crossing it over and then spinning back to that left hand in the lane going against Zach Norvell. And Norvell just not big enough to impact the ball.
R.J. Barrett's strong drive. It won't go down, but there is a foul on Gonzaga, and I think it's going on Perkins.
It is going on Perkins. He just down low, just kind of undercut Marquise Bolden. Got caught in a rotation, having to block out a bigger guy. And Hachimura's got to get really good pressure on the ball here to try to keep Trey Jones from seeing.
And over the top to Barrett out near midcourt.
Best result you can get for out of bounds underneath, other than a steal, is to make him throw it long.
Hachimura still on Jones. Reddish into some traffic. And what's the call? Shielded by the official. I think it was out of bounds off Gonzaga, so it's Duke ball with a 19 to shoot. Boy, Duke really driving the ball right now. They shot the 3 very well in their first game against San Diego State, but generally speaking, you'd have to think more dangerous as a driving team than a shooting team. Norvell draws the assignment of Barrett.
Hachimura on Williamson.
Over the top, too far for Bolden. Got it back, though.
Worked out as just as good of a pass off the backboard. Gonzaga gets the ball up court quickly. You don't have time to celebrate after you score.
Kispert from the elbow. Man, we got 10 really good players on the court right now, don't we?
Well, guys that are skilled.
Yeah.
They can shoot it and drive it. Good passers. And the ball doesn't stick for either of these 2 teams.
Jones. Over Perkins. It's tied again.
With both these teams looking to get into the paint. And Trey Jones is strong. And this is a key matchup. Jones on Perkins. He's going to try to put some pressure on him, wear him out, and take him out of the game. There's a foul on Bolden.
Well, Bolden's got a tough matchup on his hands with Clark, and we see Javin DeLaurier getting ready to check in. If it is for Bolden, and it is, DeLaurier a little bit are able to run around and chase Clark out of the perimeter.
Yeah, much better matchup because you can't take him on the perimeter and then just drive right by him. He moves his feet a little bit better to stay in front. But for a big guy, Bolden moves his feet extraordinarily well.
Hachimura into some traffic and finishes. Nice jump stop and finish for the junior from Toyama, Japan.
Good body control. Such a strong player. I thought he was going to dump that off to Clark on the other end.
Williamson, no. Norvell. Followed by Clark. But you got to get back in a hurry with Duke coming the other way as Barrett lays it in to bring him back within 2.
R.J. Barrett just has a knack for getting to the rim. He gets by people. He can make challenge shots. Kissing it off the glass. Another lefty. But after that tremendous stick back, Duke within 5 seconds lays it in on the other end.
Perkins, look at that bounce pass to Kisper. Jones with a floater, a little bit short. Delorier had it, and he's called for a travel.
Just what we expected. Up and down. 2 very skilled championship caliber teams throwing haymakers at one another. First, Zion Williamson spinning back to that left hand. And then Rui Hachimura getting the matchup he wanted and drilling the 3. Gonzaga, Duke in Maui.
Take a look at how both of these programs got to the championship game here in Lahaina. The quarterfinal, Duke over San Diego State by 26. They made 10 threes in the semifinal. Barrett a big game, Bolden a big game as they beat Auburn. A stubborn Tigers group 78-72 for the Zags. They had some trouble, turned it over against Illinois, but survived in the first round and then had an unbelievable second half led by Rui Hachimura as they beat Arizona 91-74 in the semifinal. The most titles here in the history of the Maui Invitational belongs to Duke. A perfect 5 for 5. Carolina 4, Syracuse 3, nobody else more than 2. Gonzaga's got 1, and Gonzaga's got an early 2-point lead here in a barn burner of a 5 minutes or so here to begin this one.
Jack White into the ball game for Duke. He is now guarding Rui Hachimura.
Perkins wide open, in and out.
Boy, a lot of space off that screen roll situation up top, and usually that's where Perkins drills a shot like that.
Do you think we're going to see a lot of switching 1 through 4 on both sides?
Yeah, on exchanges like that. You don't want to see a switch there that often where Perkins is switching off on Zion Williamson, but they got the steal anyway.
Hachimura, nice find to Norvell, and the lefty buries the 3.
Boy, what a pass. Getting into the paint, then kicking it out to Zach Norvell, who started 0 for 8 in the game against Arizona, but rebounded to have 20 points in that one. Well, he is one confident shooter, the lefty.
19 points per game in 3 tournament games for the Zags a year ago. Jones into traffic, finds White, and wow. Jack White continues to play at a high level early this season.
Just ready to shoot. Totally unafraid. He's a different player. He's had the normal maturation of a good player.
He and Delorier, 2 juniors, and the co-captains on this otherwise very young Duke roster.
Gonzaga looking to lift the Duke defense. Good pass.
And nice patience inside by Clark.
Little roll to the basket, replace up from the corner. That was an excellent find.
Delorier inside, kicks it back out. Barrett for 3. And Williamson with the offensive rebound, spins by Hachimura to lay it in.
Well, you have to sit on that right shoulder. You can't let him spin back to his left. If he scores with his right, that's fine, but Zion Williamson wants to get back to that left hand.
He's got 6 in the early going for Duke. Clark's got 7 to lead Gonzaga.
Hachimura gets double teamed. Gonzaga has to be active.
Perkins turns it over. Jones misses the dunk. Oh my. And what a 4-point swing that was.
No coach minds a player dunking. They just want you to make it. That is quite a turnaround.
Yeah, and
Brandon Clark has started off great in this game. He's been terrific on both ends.
And the Zags had basically conceded the 2 points, whether it was a dunk or a layup. They were watching him, watching Jones go down there, and he just couldn't finish it.
Well, it wasn't just that he missed it. It went off the heel And it took a long bounce out, which was basically the outlet pass for a fast break. And a really good pass, the second pass, a good first pass by Josh Perkins to Hachimura. And Brandon Clark does such a good job of protecting the rim.
Clark 2 years ago, when he was still at San Jose State, first team All Mountain West, sat out as a transfer last year. And we've talked about it during the earlier Zags games. With a guy like Clark and a guy like Hachimura and Killian Tilly, who was injured, a tremendous player. They hope to have him back in a few weeks from an ankle injury. You're talking about a college front court, Jada. It looks like an NBA front line.
That's right. There's no question about that. Hachimura making it really difficult on out of bounds underneath when Trey Jones is inbounding it. Jones is small. And then on the side, they have R.J. Barrett bring it in.
Barrett from just inside the arc.
Kid is just wired to score. It's in his DNA.
He's Duke's leading scorer on the season, 22.8 points per game in the first 5.
He's their best player, and he's still not as efficient as he's going to be.
Wide open is Filip Petrusev, the freshman from Serbia, but he misses the 3.
Good stroke. That is not unusual for him to take a 3.
Yeah, no matter who Bolden's covering, he's going to have to be out of the perimeter at times as Hachimura is called for the foul on a driving Barrett, the first on a Rui Hachimura.
Really what got Hachimura with a foul was taking a swing at the ball. If he just kept his arm up, even though there was a little bit of contact, I don't think he would have been called for a foul there. Just make R.J. Barrett finish that. Barrett shoots a ton of free throws. He basically lives at the line, but he only shoots 65% from the free throw line. That's an area he needs to improve because he's leaving a lot of points at that line.
Stroke still developing at the line from beyond the arc, in transition, lethal. Consensus #1 incoming recruit in college basketball. And what we have seen in the Duke games is, although guys like Barrett and Reddish and Williamson, they were obviously all the alpha dog on whatever team they've ever been on, there has been no hint of any selfishness at any moment in a Duke basketball game.
Well, Gino Crandall into the ball game now to run the point. Norvell again. Boy, he is feeling what a confident player. But Crandall turned the ball over and had a rough time against Arizona's pressure. But he's got to be locked in, being guarded by Trey Jones, who's a very good on-ball defender. Good pass.
Barrett, no-look pass and a push underneath the basket on the Zags. 4-point lead, Gonzaga over Duke. When we come back, an unusual international version of 94 feet.
Multicultural.
94 feet with Gonzaga's Rui Hachimura. Rui, what sports did you play growing up?
僕は小さい頃、野球と陸上をやっていました。
And how did you learn English?
テレビとか見て、あと友達と話したりしてやりました。
Which show?
テレビはヴァンパイアダイアリーっていう TV ショーです。
Yeah, Vampire Diaries. I like that show a lot. What do you do in your spare time when you're not playing basketball?
ビデオゲームか、ただ座って寝るだけ。
And what kind of Japanese does Mark Few speak? Does he speak well?
No, he doesn't speak anything. No.
Yeah. Does he? Well, apparently you don't either. Does he speak English well?
Yeah.
Okay, good. He didn't even get the joke. 94 feet.
What a great kid. Yeah. A delightful young man in English or in Japanese. A guy who didn't speak a lot of English when he got to Spokane a couple of years ago, has worked hard in the classroom, outside the classroom, to develop his knowledge of English, and now, can trade barbs with his teammates. And most importantly for Mark Few, can understand when Coach Few's yelling at him and telling him to do something. And the talent in Hachimura is extraordinary.
Yeah, Mark Few was saying, not a good job by Brandon Clark. He didn't take away the angle toward the basket. He was trying to take away, it seemed like, the long pass. You got to protect the basket first. If they throw it out by the sideline, so what?
White down with the rebound off the miss from Crandall, and Duke can tie or take the lead on this trip. So both Perkins and Hachimura on the bench right now for Gonzaga. Don't expect to see that for that much time. And White runs down the errant pass to save the possession for the Blue Devils, but not for long. Foul on Trey Jones.
Yeah, not just a turnover, but a foul. Now watch this inbounds right here and take a look at Brandon Clark. The angle you have to take away is right here. And it's wide open. See how you could see right underneath the basket? You've got to angle your body to make him throw it out to the short side of the floor, to the sideline, not allow it right underneath. That's why sometimes as an an inbounder, if you give a fake to the short side, then it'll kind of open it up.
Clark slips on a drive attempt, and Barrett takes over. 1-on-2. Lost it, got it, and gets fouled. Well, this is just the beginning of a great triple header of basketball action here on ESPN tonight. We'll take it into the NBA after this game as LeBron James returns to Cleveland tonight. That game comes your way at 8 o'clock Eastern time. And then it's KD and the Warriors, Russell Westbrook and the Thunder at 10:30.
LeBron handed 51 to one of his former teams, the Miami Heat. Wonder how much he's going to put on the Cavaliers.
Norvell to the bench, and Perkins returns, so really a two-point guard look right now for Mark Few in the Zags, with Perkins and Geno Crandall, the grad transfer from North Dakota, in the game.
Both Crandall and Perkins can operate as two guards once they give the ball up. Both of them have a scorer's mentality. But Crandall, before he transferred, he played against Gonzaga when he was in North Dakota, handed him 28.
Pretty good way to get recruited, isn't it?
Heck yeah.
Bolden helping out. Jones with a pass inside to Petrushev.
Petrushev with a great roll to the basket. Nobody picked up the roll, and he presented himself as wide open, but that was not an easy pass to make. But Perkins stayed low and threw it right around the defender.
Lob deflected, and it's out of bounds. Back to Gonzaga.
Well, sometimes you think with Zion Williamson you could just throw it up anywhere and he's going to go get it. Not the case. Screen roll wasn't picked up. He was tagged initially by Zion Williamson, but Williamson didn't stay with him. There was no recovery by Bolden, but Williamson's got to stay with him until Bolden can recover. Otherwise, they're giving up an easy two. That's just Gonzaga continuing to put Marquise Bolden into screen and roll situations.
Offensive rebound rundown by Jeremy Jones.
Jones has had some good minutes in this tournament.
14 points, 11 rebounds in their first round win over Illinois. And they struggled with the pressure of the Illini. They might not have won that game if Jones hadn't had the performance that he had.
Especially with some of the foul trouble they had as well. The transfer from Rice, but not a basketball transfer. He's a football player. Played quarterback in high school, was a really good quarterback.
There's a few guys out there right now who looks like they did or could play some football.
One in particular. I'll let you take a guess.
Yeah. Reddish with a drive. Look at the length on him to adjust and still get that shot off.
Yeah, a little bit of a bailout there by Gonzaga. No one to foul there. Make him take the tough shot. Over pursuit by Jeremy Jones, and then compounded the mistake by fouling when Petrushev was there to make him score over. Just make it a tough two. Remember, Gonzaga had foul difficulty all throughout the first half against Arizona. And Mark Few right before halftime, or at halftime, said we got to quit fouling.
And the last guy you want to foul on, Duke, is Reddish. Some of the other freshmen struggle at the line from time to time. Reddish does not, as Hachimura checks back in for the Zags.
I don't think Cam Reddish struggles with anything except maybe fashion choices in footwear on the beach.
Fair.
Wore white socks on the beach for 94 feet.
Zags by one.
Gonzaga just lifting up the Duke defense so they can cut.
How many times have we seen Hachimura do that in this tournament?
So smooth. Just a one dribble pull up went right into the chest of Zion Williamson. Not necessarily to knock him back, but just to create enough space to rise up. That was beautiful.
This is a very confident basketball team in Gonzaga. Number 3, the highest preseason ranking they've ever had, as Zion Williamson elicits some gasps in the crowd with that move to bring Duke back within one.
Now, if you're Mark Few, do you yell at one of your players to take a charge? It's like a suicide mission.
I think first guy to take a charge on Williamson this year should automatically get like conference player of the week or something.
Get a Medal of Honor.
Yeah.
Could be the last guy that takes one.
Petrosev for three.
They are really trying to draw Marquise Bolden away from the bucket.
And this is where the traditional five-man can struggle in basketball these days because so many bigs are now able to step out.
First was Brandon Clark knocking that down. Now Petrosev. A good fake there by Crandall to stop that drive.
And Perkins forced Barrett into a tough shot.
As good a defensive possession as you can have. Force it tough too, but Crandall really stopped that drive with just that fake trap.
Crandall turns the corner. Counts!
What body control by the transfer from USF. All West Coast Conference for the Dons, and or excuse me, that's I'm thinking North Dakota. North Dakota. Got USF on the mind, thinking about another transfer from this tournament. But Crandall on the little handoff action, and then going right into the body of Cam Reddish. Disrespecting North Dakota. He's not a Don. Let's take a look right now at a subtle, really good defensive play with some help defense. R.J. Barrett has the ball on the side. Now watch Crandall right here. He's going to fake, and he stopped that drive. He didn't overhelp, but he helped stop the drive and allowed Josh Perkins to get back in front. And that way Gonzaga was able to force a challenge jump shot, a tough two. If he had overhelped, that would have left Cam Reddish wide open for a three. Really good job by Gino Crandall just to give a little fake trap, stop that drive, and allow Perkins to get back in front.
Jay, the young Blue Devils in a different situation than the ones they've been in earlier this year. In their first 5 games, they trailed for a total of 35 seconds. Gave up the first bucket to Army, Eastern Michigan, San Diego State. As you can see, they got their next bucket back in a hurry and then never trailed again. They have trailed for almost 11 minutes and counting right now in this game.
That's not necessarily a bad thing in the grand scheme of things. I think both these coaches love to see their teams tested. They're going to learn a lot. Well, they want to win, obviously. That's job number one.
Jones elevates and buries it.
Talk about smooth. I mean, Cam Reddish is probably the smoothest of the Duke freshmen. But I might say that Trey Jones on the smooth meter is right behind him. Yeah. Unflappable. I'm not sure he sweats.
6'8", great shooter. And with a finger roll, he's got a lot of game. Let's bring in Kanoa.
The emphasis in the Gonzaga huddle was on the defensive end. They said they're giving up too much dribble penetration to the Blue Devils. They need to fill those gaps harder. They're being pressured into foul situations. So they got to clean that up, according to Coach Mark Few.
Rui Hachimura again.
Hachimura, whenever he has a chance to go at Marquise Bolden, is doing it. And he can operate out on the perimeter. He's got a good jab step, an excellent handler. And he can operate in the post. He can operate right on the block. Just gets behind, right past Jack White, and goes right after Marquise Bolden. Bolden's got to come over there to block that shot, not to take a charge.
Second on Bolden, he goes to the bench.
Bolden was so good against Auburn. He rebounded, he protected the rim, 7 blocked shots. That is a big-time performance. Good job by Kispert to get around in front.
Reddish down to Delorier. Looking for help. Finds Williamson, 7 to shoot. And which way will it go? It'll be a block going against Kispert.
Yeah, that wasn't close. Kispert wasn't there. There was a little bit of contact just on his right side, but he wasn't in legal guarding position. He's already passed him there. So that was a good call.
And that's the 7th foul committed by the Zags. So bonus now for Duke with 6:21 to go in the half. Mark Few's 20th season in Spokane. The Zags have made the tournament each of the past 19. Got to the national championship game a couple of years ago. Lost to North Carolina. 8 times in the Sweet 16 or better. 8 times a top 4 seed. And just between, we talked about it yesterday, between the international recruiting where they have really set the bar and how they always seem old. They have transfers coming in. They have red shirts. They just always seem like a very experienced team.
Again, one thing that Gonzaga has done a really good job of, the Zags offense has really helped its defense. Because they've run good offense, they haven't taken quick shots, for the most part haven't turned the ball over. They've kept Duke out of transition, and they've played 5-on-5 in the half court. This is the first time that Duke has, at least for this part of the game, been turned into largely a half-court basketball team.
Hachimura with a kick. Petrusev fumbles it, so he couldn't get the shot off. Instead, he'll drive it and lay it in.
How about the big guy showing some skill? Already proven that beautiful stroke, he can shoot it.
The freshman from Belgrade, Serbia, scored 29 to lead Serbia to the under-18 European Championship this past summer.
Well, from Serbia, he also went to Montverde Academy in Florida, where R.J. Barrett went to school.
Williamson for three. Well, it felt like there was a push in the back there, and coming down with it anyways is Petrusev.
Well, there was definitely some physicality, but you have to expect that in this kind of game.
Norvell running the court, and great vision by Perkins.
We talked about Josh Perkins being the most important player in this game for Gonzaga, and he has proven to be that. Coming down the floor, what a beautiful bounce pass to the sprinting Zach Norvell. Gonzaga loving it.
So far by Gonzaga, leading by 9, and there's more great basketball coming your way here during Feast Week. It's the Bad Boy Mowers battle for Atlantis, and it's underway. Oklahoma and Wisconsin have already advanced. Coming up this evening, Dayton, Butler, and then Middle Tennessee and Virginia from the Bahamas. Barrett forcing his way in. Lower that shoulder just enough to create some room.
Strong move, and it was a smart move to go against Hachimura when he got him on the switch. See if he can pick up a foul against the Gonzaga star.
Norvell! Oh!
What a beautiful drive and finish. Boy, in a game of stars, Zach Norvell has been the early star for Gonzaga.
Gave the defender a little bit of a fake, drove by him, and an unbelievable reverse to send the Zags fans into a frenzy. Barrett at the other end, can't answer, and it's Gonzaga ball.
Numbers. Need to take advantage of it.
Tipped away by White, but a foul.
Zach Norvell started off 0 for 8 against Arizona. He wound up with 20 points in the ball game, and just a defensive mistake by R.J. Barrett. He didn't force him into the screen, and Norvell refused the screen, got all the way to the bucket, no weak side help, and what a fantastic finish.
Hachimura again. Gonzaga, Jay, is shooting 72%, 18 for 25.
Basketball is about rhythm. Establish yours, disrupt theirs. And Duke has not been able to disrupt the rhythm of Gonzaga, and it has totally disrupted the rhythm of Duke. Like, Duke has taken some bad shots, quick shots. It has been all Gonzaga in this first half.
42 points, 72% shooting, and an 11-point lead.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Hurry in today for huge Black Friday savings.
And guys, thank you. Final Four caliber teams in a heavyweight matchup in November in this tiny gym in Lahaina. And look at what Gonzaga is doing so far. They've made their last 8 shots, 72% from the field. And the Blue Devils in an unfamiliar spot for them so far this young season.
Well, Gonzaga doing a great job of spreading the floor and moving Duke defenders around.
Norvell over Barrett.
First challenge shot that Gonzaga's taken in a while, and not a good one by Norvell.
What does Duke need to do better in the half-court offense?
Well, first of all, they need just what Seth Greenberg was saying. They need to start it with their defense, play better defense so they can get out in transition. Isn't it amazing, Dan? Bad shot by Gonzaga on one end leads to a layup by Duke on the other. Duke had been struggling, and just because of a bad shot, Rui Hachimura just hit his head on the floor. After that foul by Jack White, he tripped right up about the top of the key over another player and hit his head on the deck. Hope he's okay. You worry not only about all his concussion stuff, but you worry about his neck too. It looks like he's all right, but he took a hard fall there. There's the foul, and then when he went after the ball, he got undercut there, and it hit his head hard.
Tripping over a diving Zion Williamson. Hachimura appears to be okay. Second on Jack White. Gonzaga ball.
Pressure has not bothered Josh Perkins at all. They've not been able to get pressure on him and keep it on him. You got Trey Jones on Hachimura now. They need to get him the ball.
White knocks it away. Norvell gets it back. Still got time, but he needs some help. They get Hachimura the ball.
They shoot over him.
Found a little space. Can't finish it.
Just waited too long.
And Barrett's pass sails over Reddish out of bounds. That'll be the 6th turnover committed by Duke.
In Duke's first several games, it looked like it was impossible to take the Blue Devils out of transition. But Gonzaga has done just that.
Well, Gonzaga, one of the few teams that can match the size of Duke at just about every position. And remember that without Killian Tilly, wait till he gets back. Jones is wide open, and it goes.
Duke being taken advantage of in screen roll situations. They switched and just lost their assignments after the switch.
Jay, you said it before the game as this one is still loose. Now down to the Zags. Norvell in transition. They got numbers. Oh, a block by Williamson. Up and down they go here in Lahaina.
How about this game?
Boy, Norvell has been going right at R.J. Barrett the entire game. Perkins with a rebound. You said it before the game. Perkins might be the most important player on the floor. He hasn't scored in this game, and he's probably been the most important player on the floor.
There's no question, because he's run the Gonzaga offense. Got a switch now, and he can attack Bolden.
Now he's scored.
They are really putting Duke into the popcorn machine.
They're playing so smart.
Williamson should have just taken Perkins into the post. Being guarded by Josh Perkins. That's advantage Duke.
Barrett with a much-needed bucket for Duke, and it's a 3.
Or does anything bother R.J. Barrett? That kid is a baller.
He's in double figures now with 11. Hachimura leads Gonzaga with 12.
Got to think that Gonzaga is going to put Duke in more screen roll situations. There's a reversal, a dribble handoff. Those fouls are called all the time, and a good call by Pat Driscoll. But once you make that handoff, you got to stay stationary. If you run into the defender, they're going to call that every time. That's a point of emphasis from the rules committee.
And it's number 2 on Brandon Clark. He'll sit down to prevent the third here in the last minute of the half. Petrosev is back in his place. Reddish driving, floating, off the rim and out of bounds to the Zags.
Now Gonzaga can basically take this down to the end of the shot clock and give themselves an opportunity maybe for a tip-in and not leave Duke a ton of time to take it the other way. Nowhere near enough time for 2-for-1, obviously, but they can't quite take it down to the end, but they can take it down to the end of the shot clock. I wouldn't be in any hurry right here if I were Gonzaga.
5th-year senior, at the point. 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 Good hands by Jones. Got to get a shot off, and they don't.
Well defended. Well defended.
White back in for Duke. Crandall for Perkins. For Gonzaga, also Greg Foster coming in for the first time as Hachimura sits down with just 3.7 seconds remaining in the half.
Gonzaga does not want to foul here. Make it difficult, but do not foul.
Jones will get it off and hit it. Trey Jones banks in a three at the end of the half to bring Duke back within 8.
So many teams practice these shots now in their shoot-arounds. Just a beauty.
8-point lead Gonzaga at the break. Kanoa Leahy is with Gonzaga coach Mark Few.
Coach, your team shot over 60% offensively. How were you able to find so much success against that long lineup?
We play offense pretty good when we're moving it, moving our bodies and moving the ball. You know, especially when the shots are going in from 3. I like how we shared it, and we had a pretty good pace about us.
Seemed like you were able to spread out them defensively, bring Marquise Bolden away from the basket, creating opportunity.
I mean, that's kind of what we do. I don't know if we're just doing that intentionally. That's how we play. Obviously, we got 20 more minutes. It's a high possession game, so there's a lot of basketball left.
What do you got to do to keep the pressure on?
We got to do a better job on the offensive boards. They're going hard, getting a lot of extra opportunities there. Got to trust our gap defense, too. We keep getting our gaps split.
Coach, thank you.
Yep.
It's a high possession game. It's a Maui Invitational. We are here in Lahaina inside the Civic Center. And what a first half for the Gonzaga Bulldogs, shooting 65%. Just playing great, playing as a team, playing smart, looking very experienced. And until the last minute when Duke knocked down a couple of threes, they were up 14 in this game.
Well, Gonzaga's best defense was their really good offense because they kept Duke out of transition and wound up making them a half-court team. And that was a big factor. The other big factor was the excellent play, not only Josh Perkins at the point guard position, but Rui Hachimura. You know, Hachimura in that first half had 12 points. He went 5 of 6 from the field. They've got to find him more shot opportunities. And then Zach Norvell had 10 points, went 2 of 3 from three-point range and just attacked not only in transition, but in the half court. And, you know, Hachimura was excellent. Norvell was excellent. He can really shoot at the lefty with a little jab step, one dribble pull up, and then in transition, and then turning down the ball screen, rejecting it, and a fantastic finish on the other end. Don't forget Brandon Clark had 9 points, 4 of 5 from the field for the big guy.
And look at the scoring. Not only the scoring, look at the efficiency for some of Gonzaga's key players. And again, we would be remiss if we didn't mention what Josh Perkins did in the first half. 5 assists, 1 turnover in 18 minutes of action. You are watching our Sonic blockbuster, and is it ever? Perkins and number 3 Gonzaga leading at number 1 Duke by 8. Going to the second half here with the championship game of the Maui Invitational.
Really the first time all season long, Dan, that Duke has looked young. And the question is, in the second half, can they get something going? What a pass!
Hachimura with a brilliant no-look pass to Brandon Clark.
Boy, the double team came over to Hachimura, and it's almost like he was waiting for it, and there was no rotation down from R.J. Barrett to get down and take that pass away.
Williamson at the other end. Can't finish. Ball's loose. Belongs to the Zags. Pretty good defense there by Hachimura on Williamson.
Well, he's big and strong, long arm. And he is forcing Zion Williamson to operate in a crowd.
He's an inch taller than Williamson, and while he doesn't weigh 280 like Williamson does, he's a sturdy 230, and Zach Norvell just keeps making shots.
Boy, after Duke went into the halftime locker room with a little bit of momentum after that amazing Trey Jones shot to end the half, Gonzaga has come out firing.
Barrett no, and Hachimura down with the rebound, and here he comes.
I thought Clark was going to turn and drive that.
Two-man game, diving for it, Williamson, and a push is called on Clark.
Take a look at Rui Hachimura in the low post. When he gets the ball, he looks immediately over his left shoulder and sees the double team, but R.J. Barrett didn't rotate down. He's got to rotate down and take that pass away. Boy, what a fantastic pass. The double team came from Marquise Bolden along the baseline side, but still he was able to see his teammate Brandon Clark wide open underneath the bucket.
Third on Clark, by the way. He's gone to the bench. Petrosev back in as we check in with Canoa.
Hey guys, talked with Duke Associate head coach John Shire. He said, hey look, we're playing a really good team here in Gonzaga and they've taken advantage of us. They're hitting shots, yes, but we also gave them 3 wide open threes in that first half. He also looked at this situation as an opportunity. He says, we haven't been in this position yet this season. We're going to find out exactly what we're made of.
And that's one of the biggest reasons, obviously, why coaches like to come to a tournament like this early in the season, to play 3 games in 3 days against top-flight competition, and win or lose, learn something about your group. Williamson misses a slam.
Boy, a spectacular rebound. Haven't seen him miss a dunk.
Kispert buries a 3.
Gonzaga is making Duke pay for every single mistake.
Quick double on Williamson. Reddish is open. And Reddish will get it home with his left hand. We have not seen Reddish set up and launch threes. He's been driving most of the time today.
Duke has missed 2 dunks, and Gonzaga on both of them has scored on the other end.
Norvell wants a ball screen on Barrett. They switch. Hachimura over Barrett. Soft touch.
Boy, Duke, who usually exploits matchups to their advantage, has seen Gonzaga get the matchup they want and exploit the matchup difficulties that Duke is having on the defensive end.
And not that Hachimura was not on the map beforehand and was not well known as a budding star. Blocked by Petrosev. And sticking with it on the glass is R.J. Barrett. But Hachimura with 32 NBA GMs or scouts today. They're watching him play against a team like Duke, and man, is he making a name for himself. And just his stock's going up, up, up right now.
Well, Josh Perkins has been fantastic in this game. He's not scoring a ton of points, but he's making the right play over and over again. And your point about Hachimura is a good one. The NBA scouts and NBA front office personnel want to see the best players play against one another and see how they perform. And Hachimura has performed at an extraordinarily high level.
Trey Jones misses the 3. Weak side rebound, Bolden, and a foul. I think it's Hachimura, and if it is, it's his second.
A really good weak side rebound. Usually when a shot comes from the corner, it's going to go out to the other side. And that's why teams like West Virginia, whenever a shot's taken from one side of the floor, they load up 2 offensive rebounders on the opposite side of the rim just because of those numbers.
The junior Marquise Bolden at the line for Duke. We mentioned such a big game yesterday in the semifinal win over Auburn. The Blue Devils beating the Tigers by 6, and Bolden went for 11 points, 9 rebounds, and a career high. And Maui tournament tying 7 blocks in that game, and just ran the floor all game long. He'll get a breather right now. Jack Whitehead. A little pressure here by Duke.
4 freshmen on the floor for Duke. Gonzaga may want to put Duke in some more ball screen situations, see if they can get some miscommunication. Got a switch now. Williamson on Norvell.
Driving Perkins. Kispert. Petrosev.
A beautiful penetration by Kispert. And a great dump down to Petrosev. Just good basketball. Reversal and attack. We're not doing it off the first side.
I'm sorry, Jay. Here's a steal now, and it's Norvell. Got Perkins with him. Another block from behind by Zion Williamson. Jones all by himself. Doesn't matter. Lays it in with the left hand.
And a steal. What a play by Jones.
And draws a foul.
Well, that's the kind of thing that can get some momentum in your favor when you're down. Great play on both ends of the floor by Trey Jones.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's.
Performance so far by Gonzaga, leading Duke 61-47 in a game in which potentially as many as 4 players are considered to be future lottery picks. Rui Hachimura among them for more. Here's Kanawalehi.
Guys, here with Mike Schmitz, ESPN.com NBA draft analyst. Hey, you've been talking to a lot of scouts here this week. You've been taking the temperature a little bit. Who has raised the awareness among the scouts that have been observing?
I think Zion Williamson has really kind of taken the lead in terms of the #1 pick. He's just so unique. You know, we've seen guys like R.J. Barrett, we've seen Cam Reddishes, but we've never really seen a Zion Williamson before.
What about the player that, if they hadn't raised their draft stock, has kind of caught a few more eyeballs where there's a little bit more people talking about it?
I think Rui Hachimura today has been unbelievable. You know, he's always had the body, 6'8", 7'2" wingspan, but he's extended his range. He's making threes. He's shooting it off the bounce, and he's taking it right at Zion Williamson and Duke. So seeing him show up in a setting like this has been really, really impressive.
Mike, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Guys, thank you. A couple of free throws makes it a 12-point game. 1 sub. Alex O'Connell into the game for the first time today for Duke. Sophomore with a very good shooting stroke. Kispert needs some help, and he finds Norvell.
O'Connell's got his hand moving. A lot of dribbling, and they got away with it. But
White with a block. Got to get a shot off. And they won't. Unaware that the shot clock was running down.
First time that Gonzaga, the ball was sticking. A lot of dribbling, not a lot of passing. The dribble-pass ratio was really high on the dribble side, and no surprise that a bad shot was taken at the end and a turnover.
Duke fans sensing a moment here, making more noise. Williamson right over Petrosev.
Well, that was a matchup that Williamson knew that he could drive. Now the three-quarter court pressure, 1-2-2 from Duke.
Williamson with a dozen. Norvell, full head of steam, too strong off the glass. Petrosev misses the reverse, but then follows.
Well, how good has Petrosev been in this game? That's 11 points, 5 of 6 from the field.
Barrett with Perkins on him. And a block is called on Josh Perkins. That'll be his second.
Really wasn't much question about it. He just threw his body in front. He wasn't able to move his feet to maintain that guarding position. And Filip Petrosev has been excellent in this ball game. Getting the rebound, nice little hesitation to get the defenders to fly by, and after he missed the initial one, quick off his feet to tip that in.
Doesn't play like a freshman, does he? And I don't mean the talent or the size, just the way he goes about it. It seems like an older player out there.
Well, he's played a lot of basketball, international basketball, and teamed with this guy R.J. Barrett at Montverde Academy, so he's played at a high level.
Brandel gets a shot off, left it short. Williamson ahead to Barrett. And one.
We had mentioned throughout the game that Gonzaga's best defense was their good offense. And when Gonzaga has sputtered the last few possessions, that's allowed Duke to get out in transition, especially on that play. And now all of a sudden, you know, Duke is starting to shake their fists around and chest bump, and are feeling awfully good. A totally different feel right now for this young Duke team. Sticking with that three-quarter court pressure.
Perkins the lob, finished by Clark.
Well, Duke let Gonzaga get into the middle. And once you get into the middle, you have to help up, and then you can just lob it to the rim.
Barrett trying to take over. Clark smelled that coming and swatted it away.
Well, Brandon Clark was all Mountain West and all Mountain West defensive team. Impacts the game with his block shots because he's so quick off the floor.
Man, there's some high-level players and athletes in this game on both sides today. Jones looking for some room. Clark with another rejection.
I think Trey Jones should have shot that ball when he caught it at the top of the key. His man went to double on Zion Williamson on that drive, and he was wide open for the shot, just took it into trouble. Crandall is on Williamson.
And a travel called on Jones.
Both teams have had some issues when they've tried to attack off the first side. When the ball's been reversed, percentages go way up. When it gets to the third side, percentages are ridiculous. But if you attack off that first side against a set defense, the results haven't been as positive for either team.
This is just a part of a big night with LeBron and the Lakers heading to Cleveland. You'll see that game after this here on ESPN, and then the late game at 10:30 Eastern Time, 7:30 Pacific, the Thunder and the Warriors. Happy Thanksgiving feast week for all of us here today and tonight on ESPN. And what a game we got going here in Lahaina as they continue to try to get the perspiration off the floor after that slip by Jones.
If I'm Gonzaga here, one, they have to get everybody coming back to the ball and be a receiver. But if I'm Gonzaga, I let Hachimura touch the ball.
Being guarded by White. Clark bumped by Williamson, and that'll be the first on Zion Williamson.
Boy, that's athlete on athlete, isn't it?
Yeah, imagine trying to rank the athleticism of some of the guys, order them in this game. Where do you start?
Well, there's athletic, and then there's Brandon Clark athletic, which is way beyond regular athletic. And then there's Zion Williamson, which is way beyond any kind of athletic I've seen in that kind of body, that kind of package. Good pass.
Crandall and Williamson almost demolished him on that block. O'Connell launches a three. And look who it is at the other end, Williamson, and he gets blocked. Numbers. Perkins for three.
Unflappable. Zion Williamson makes an amazing block on one end, and Gonzaga answers it.
And a challenge at the rim, a hard foul by Clark. Number 4 on Brandon Clark, not willing to give anything up to Williamson.
The problem is for Gonzaga with that fourth foul, there's 12.5 minutes left to go. There is a long way to go. How about that block? That is big time.
Actually, might have been a Hachimura there more than Clark. How about this 4-on-1 pulling up for a three?
Smart basketball. That's a good play. You know, 20 years ago, people would say that's a bad shot. No way now.
And then at the other end, the foul on Clark. And you can understand a ton of emotion and adrenaline in all of these players. He was not willing to give ground to Williamson. And as a result, one of Gonzaga's best players is going to have to sit for a while.
Yeah, and you can get a basket back. You can't get a foul back. But that's what magnifies the cheap ones that you pick up through the course of a game. That's why you can't waste a foul and pick up a cheap one.
So Jeremy Jones is in the place of Clark. Williamson will get a breather, probably just till the under 12 media timeout as Jamal Delorier comes back in.
Cam Reddish right now guarding Gino Crandall. Reddish has really struggled in this game. Only made one bucket. Last time I checked, I think it was 1 for 7 from the field.
0 for 2 from 3, and usually the vast majority of the shots are from beyond the arc. Not today. Hachimura guarded by White. Norvell driving.
Way to drive the closeout.
Jones blocked, but stays with it.
Gonzaga just a little bit quicker to the ball, a little bit more alert.
Jordan Goldwire in for Duke for the first time, giving Trey Jones a bit of a breather.
Now the ball being pounded again. There it is. Good shot by Cam Reddish. It wasn't great offense, but a great shot.
Hachimura. A little bit too strong. Good move, but couldn't finish.
Boy, that was a great post. He just didn't finish it up top, but a really good pass out of the high-low look.
Delorier. And a foul on Jones. We got a long way to go in this one, and we got one heck of a basketball game going on right now. Number 3 Gonzaga leading number 1 Duke 70-59. In a game that's been up and down and intense and fun from the moment it began here in Lahaina.
Adnan Burke alongside Jay Williams and Seth Greenberg. LeBron James returning to the queue. He's averaging 28.8 points per game, 7.7 rebounds, 6.9 assists. Only Kemba Walker averaging more points per game. How about LeBron versus Zion, Jay Will?
They do not compare at all. Skill level, they do not compare. Maybe size, athletic ability, yes.
Two totally different players. Jay, Will, you could rock that hat, by the way. You'd look good.
Thank you. I feel like, yeah.
Let the debate continue. Dan, back to you.
All right, guys, thank you. Great game here. 70-59 Gonzaga over Duke. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, Kanoa Leahy. While we have a moment, want to send a get well, some best wishes to Lydia Craver, a coordinating producer who works with us here at ESPN, who unfortunately a few days ago suffered a fall here in Lahaina, suffered a serious ankle injury, had to get flown home, had surgery, is on the mend. Lydia, we wish you well. And also, on another note, our boss, David Seisler, who we continue to try to butter up in the hopes of getting to come back here again. It is his birthday today, so we'd like to say happy birthday to one of the good guys in the industry, Mr. David Seisler.
And it was nice of you to buy Mr. Seisler that beautiful new surfboard.
Absolutely.
As you continue to kiss up to him for the top assignments in the game.
Wow. You want to get to somebody's heart, you give him a Babinga surfboard.
Exactly.
10-point lead for the Zags. They have led almost the entire game, but they do have one of their best in Brandon Clark on the bench with 4 fouls. Norvell, this kid is unbelievable. The shots he takes that he has the guts to take, and he's making them.
He set that up just with a little jab step.
Williamson, no call, ball's loose. And he finds Reddish.
That was off Reddish.
And they saw it, and it was Norvell who created the turnover.
Boy, Norvell did such a good job on the offensive end, being guarded by R.J. Barrett. That little jab step that he made froze the defender. Ball knocked away, and then Hachimura getting after it. And then knocked away by Norvell just off the leg of Cam Reddish. Gonzaga basketball. That's pretty darn good sequence, offense and defense, for Zach Norvell.
You know, Norvell, Jay, played all 40 minutes in Gonzaga's win over Arizona in the evening game yesterday. Shorter turnaround for Gonzaga to get back to this game than Duke, and he's only been out about 3 minutes today, and the kid is just an Energizer bunny out there right now. He can't be stopped.
Guys are earning their beach time that they'll get this afternoon and tomorrow.
Gamble by White, and Hachimura draws the foul.
You really have to come over there more to take a charge in that than block it, try to get beyond him and block a shot. There was over pursuit there that led to the foul.
A real learning experience for these 4 Duke freshmen who burst out of the gate with that win over Kentucky and 5-0, same as the Zags are. But as you've said on a couple of occasions today, this is the first time this year where, in your estimation, at times they've looked young.
They have looked young. They've looked like freshmen. Talented freshmen, but they've looked like freshmen, which you're going to expect. This team is not going to go undefeated, and there's a long way to go in this game. But how good is Gonzaga going to be when they get Killian Tilly back healthy? He's their best shooter. Killian Tilly made 11 straight threes in the West Coast Conference tournament last year. That's remarkable. Good switch by Jeremy Jones.
Yeah, imagine Tilly and Clark out there with Hachimura in the front court. There's a big shot for Cam Reddish, his second 3 of the game.
Even when he's struggling, you can't leave him. That's now 2 threes in a row that he's knocked down.
A high-scoring game with just over 10 minutes to go. Look out. Williamson had it, but then overslid, and then Norvell slips and gets a timeout call. Whoa.
He slipped on Zion Williamson's long line of perspiration. I'll tell you what, Gonzaga very fortunate there. Just a really poor pass and decision by Josh Perkins.
Gonzaga ball when we come back. Sonic blockbuster. Dan Schulman, Jay Billis, Kanoa Leahy in a packed house, as small as it is here with the Lahaina Civic Center, but man, and the Zags fans noisy, the Duke fans noisy. Two great passionate fan bases for what feels like a Final Four game. In and out. Barrett down with a rebound, out of bounds, and
that's a foul on Norvell.
Yep.
And right now, Dan, it's 1-1. That's the 8th team foul in this second half on Gonzaga. So Duke has 2 team fouls. That's a huge factor down the stretch for the last 9:57 of regulation. You know, Duke cannot settle for jump shots with this foul disparity. They've got to put the ball on the deck and put Gonzaga in a position to foul them and be able to go to the free throw line and score with no defense.
1-1 for Barrett.
Barrett's a 65% free throw shooter.
His dad, Rowan, terrific player at St. John's back in the day, played overseas as well. Barrett's godfather, as I think most people know by now, Steve Nash. 1 of 2. Barrett 4 for 7 from the line today. And Jones commits the foul. That'll be his second.
Gonzaga basically playing with 2 point guards right now with Josh Perkins and Gino Crandall. I still think you have to go through Rui Hachimura.
Hachimura with a white on him. Crandall gets inside, puts it up, won't go down. And now Barrett slips, saves it though. Wet spots all over the floor, creating some issues here in the second half. Driving Reddish.
See, the game plan is to drive the ball. Came up with a walk, but anytime that Duke has a matchup they can drive, they're going to drive with this foul situation. Try to put Gonzaga down the stretch in some foul trouble and get to the line. He knocks some free throws down, then he put on some full court pressure.
Randall out, Kispert back in for the Zags.
Gonzaga has got to keep scoring.
Norvell discards White. Williamson knocks it out of bounds. It will belong to Gonzaga with a fresh 30.
The offense for Gonzaga has been a little bit bogged down. They're laboring right now. The ball needs to move. There needs to be more ball movement, player movement in order to get the Duke defense, give it an opportunity to make a mistake.
Hachimura posting, and Reddish fouls him from behind.
Hachimura gets so wide after that little double ball screen just to get down to the post. That's exactly where Gonzaga wants Hachimura, in the post.
They're underway down in the Bahamas. The Bad Boy Mowers battle for Atlantis, Oklahoma, and Wisconsin have already won. Dayton Butler and Middle Tennessee, Virginia on the other side of the bracket. Those 2 games going on this evening, and more great Feast Week action coming over the next couple of days at Atlantis.
A couple players to watch. Butler's Kamar Baldwin. Maybe not a better player in the Big East right now. And then DeAndre Hunter from Virginia. He is a big-time player. And I think he's going to take off this season. He's an NBA player.
Used the rim on both, but knocked them both down, and the lead is back to 13 for Hachimura on his way to another big day here for the Zags. Norvell doing a pretty nice job trying to limit Barrett on the drive. Barrett gets it back with a broken play, and here comes Gonzaga. Hachimura trying to go all the way, and and he'll head back to the line.
Well, that's Gonzaga turning some defense into offense. And some of the versatility, and we talk a lot about Duke having 4 different guys on the floor most times that can rip and go. Well, so can Rui Hachimura. That's 6'8", taking it from one end of the floor to the other, coast to coast.
For a guy who didn't really play basketball till he was 12, a native of Toyama, Japan, just getting better and better all the time. 4th on Reddish as he goes out. And Hachimura, we talked about it. He, as a freshman, was a bit player on this team. His understanding of the concepts and the language, it took him a while to get up to speed. As you mentioned, they've continued to push him to be as aggressive as he can. Misses both. And just an extraordinarily talented young man who has caught the eye of everybody. There's a block against Gonzaga, and it looks like it's going on Hachimura.
That was a tough call for Gonzaga. It looked like he was there, but
well, Pat Driscoll's now going over and talking to Randy McCall, and that now he confirms the call. It will be on Hachimura. Probably was asking if it should have been in the act of shooting. The answer is no.
A little late.
Number 3 on Hachimura. The issue when you're trying to guard guys like a Williamson or a Barrett or a Hachimura, it's just so hard to stay in front of them. If they're aggressive, they're going to draw so many fouls.
Yeah, and that's the problem, the choice you have to make. And the choice is angle them out, make them take a tough 2. Well, Williamson, not a great free throw shooter either.
Came into the game at 62%, but he is a perfect 5 for 5 so far today. Duke making do without Reddish right now. Gonzaga making do without Clark, each with 4 fouls. The closest Duke has been in the second half was right at the start of the second half. They were down by 8. It's been 13-14. They got it down to 9, but they haven't really gotten closer, much closer than it is right now. No room underneath. Blocked by White. And a foul as Hachimura got tripped. We will step aside. 7:45 to go. Zags up 11 on the Blue Devils.
Watch this. What's the best thing about Thanksgiving?
Time now for our play of the game, driven by Continental Tire.
Oh, Zach Norvell has been terrific all game long. The refusal, the great finish on the other side of the bucket. You go underneath on him, he's going to pull up. And that jab step just froze R.J. Barrett, pulled up and knocked down that lefty jumper. He's been emotional, and he has been on top of just about everything throughout this game. Zach Norvell, 4 of 6 from three-point range. He's got 16 points in the ballgame, 3 steals, 3 rebounds. He's been excellent.
Hachimura having another big game as well. Jay, the Zags are 10 out of 16 as a team from three-point range, 63%.
That's what they do. This team can shoot.
Hachimura, tough one. Follow, Kispert.
Gonzaga continues to be quicker to the ball. That Kispert came in from the corner and got that ball just before it hit the ground.
Williamson the lob inside to Laurier, surrounded and fouled. Let's check in with Kanoa-Leahey.
In the Gonzaga huddle, the focus was on the fatigue that they feel is kicking in. They've missed several shots, including free throws. They're saying when they call timeouts, they need to be composed. They need to get their rest when they can here for this home stretch of the game.
Still a long way to go. 7:20 as Kispert picks up his 4th foul. That's the 10th team foul committed by Gonzaga here in the second half. Their depth is going to be tested. Kispert goes out. Crandall comes back in. This has been Crandall's best game of the 3 in the tournament.
Yeah, he's played very well. But really the focus for Gonzaga has to continue to be running good offense. You're not going to get shutouts the last 7 minutes of regulation against an explosive team in Duke. So you have to score.
Gonzaga has led almost wire to wire in this game. Crandall's open. Barrett down with the rebound.
Start wondering about Gonzaga's legs on those deep shots.
Boy, when he gets going, he doesn't stop. Coast to coast for R.J. Barrett.
Well, in the first half, Gonzaga made Duke take the ball out of the net, and it was a 5-on-5 half-court game. In the second half, Duke's been able to get out and transition a little bit more because they're getting stops.
Norvell, no. Whoa! Perkins got clotheslined almost up top, going for that rebound, and it's got to be a call against somebody in blue. Delorier's looking around like you got the wrong guy. I'd love to see a replay. Everything's happening so fast, but something happened up top there to Perkins.
Nobody laid a body on him, and it was
actually
Williamson.
Yep. They got the wrong guy. I mean, you could have called Delorier as well, I guess, but really it was Williamson who delivered the blow.
Yeah, they both hit him, but Delorier got him first underneath, and then Zion Williamson came in a little bit later.
And bonus now for the Zags.
And Gonzaga, an excellent free throw shooting team. Perkins has shot over 80 for his career.
And it'll be Barrett bringing it up again for Duke, down by 11, 6.5 to go.
Still a double-digit lead for Gonzaga. They haven't had a ton of game pressure on them.
Wow, what a drive by Williamson.
Forcing him to his left into the screen, and he just goes right.
Hachimura. Over White. Duke ball. White the drive. Shovel pass to Laurier. Fouled by Crandall.
Zion Williamson, don't want to let him get to his left hand, but should have forced him into the action toward his left into a crowd. Instead, just an open lane to the basket.
And J. Mark Few has decided the time to bring Brandon Clark back into the game is now.
Well, Clark's an experienced player. You have to believe that he can be smart enough not to pick up that fifth foul down the stretch. He just has to pick his spots.
Missed over 6.5 minutes. Duke starting to cut into the deficit. Got it down to 8, and another free throw coming for Delorier. White with a rebound. Barrett, it's a three, and it's well short. Whoa, Williamson!
As he has done all season long, Jack White getting an extra possession for Duke, and it ends up with Zion Williamson finishing above the rim. And now the emotion and the momentum back in blue. With 5:38 to go in regulation, Duke trails now only by 2 possessions. A minute ago it was 11 points. Now it's down to 6.
Well, how big was that offensive rebound off the missed free throw by the intangibles guy, if you will, on this team in Jack White?
And it was right past Brandon Clark, who had just come back into the ballgame. You wonder if he was worried about on a free throw blackout, not wanting to pick up that 5th foul. But now it's incumbent upon Gonzaga to answer. And most of this game, the Zags have had an answer, but they've got to find the answer on the offensive end. They've not run great offense the last several minutes.
Perkins almost had his pocket picked. Clark, boy, he had a wide open Rui Hachimura right in the middle of the lane and must not have seen him.
A terrific challenge at the rim.
Zags have now missed 9 of their last 10 field goal attempts.
Duke's defense extending Gonzaga's offense. Now they're operating further away from the basket.
And Jones doing a good job denying the ability for Perkins to get the ball, and Hachimura turns it over. Barrett! And Norvell fouled by White. Not a popular call on the Duke side of the building.
Well, the Duke coaches thought that White was there, but what a tremendous play in transition by the great freshman R.J. Barrett, the left-hander, taking it end to end and dunking it over Hachimura. Boy, that was big-time play.
We haven't seen many like him in transition at the college level.
Heck no.
At any level.
Norvell, another outstanding free throw shooter, shooting 80% for his career, 85% this season on the young year.
What a game.
Well, those were big free throws. 2-possession game, 6 points.
Williamson, no.
Oh.
Delorier, yes. As close as they've been since early in the first half. Kispert gets a look. Williamson, a rejection.
Williamson is an amazing shot blocker.
That's his 4th of the game. Again, for a guy who weighs about 280 pounds.
He blocks them all over the place. I mean, those are perimeter block shots.
Under 4 to go. Barrett driving again.
Foul on Hachimura. You just can't stay in front of him. So hard to keep out of the lane and to keep him from finishing at the rim. R.J. Barrett gets to that left hand all the way to the rim. And the dunk on the prior play. And just in case you forgot, Zion Williamson can dunk too.
ESPN.
Unbelievable game and environment here in Lahaina. There's more great college basketball coming. The ACC Big Ten Challenge is almost upon us. It begins Tuesday night. Michigan State is at Louisville at 7:30. And then at 9:30 Eastern Time, the second game, the Indiana Hoosiers are down at Cameron to take on Duke. More great games coming your way Wednesday, including North Carolina at Michigan, one of the great events on the college basketball calendar, as is this one, the Maui Invitational. And Jay, the hype was huge. The game has lived up to it and exceeded it.
No question. In the last 4 minutes, Gonzaga's only put up 6 points. That's 8 now with a chance for 9. What a big play on the drive by Hachimura and the dish to the fantastic athlete Brandon Clark. And see, Delorier has to come over from the weak side, and if you don't rotate down, just an easy drop-off. And Duke's rotations have been tested, but Gonzaga's not been able to find much offense the last 4 minutes. That's really been the difference. It's not just that Duke is scoring, it's that Gonzaga is not.
4th foul on Jack White. And a 3-point play for Brandon Clark, who's been terrific today.
2-3 zone now for Gonzaga. They're going to bring the wings up. You have so many guys that can operate in the middle, and Williamson is one of them.
You like the move, though, just to disrupt the rhythm a little bit?
Yeah, keep him out of foul trouble a little bit.
Floater Jones.
Wow, how pretty was that? Right over Clark.
And Coach K will take a timeout. Still a ways to go. 3:13 in a three-point game. Gonzaga has led almost the entire game. I'm guessing the guys will be talking about this game a little bit on SportsCenter tonight after the Thunder Warriors game. Part of a great triple header tonight. This game, then LeBron back at Cleveland, then OKC and Golden State. Lots coming up on SportsCenter tonight at 1 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN. I think we all need a timeout right now just to catch our breath and just take stock of what's going on here today.
We've just had a great battle between two outstanding teams, and for Gonzaga, that was a huge play that Rui Hachimura just made with that pass, a three-point play to Brandon Clark. I still think having the ball in Rui Hachimura's hands is a good thing for Gonzaga. You know, get it to him in the low post, let him make a play, and if he's got a matchup he can drive, they need to move the ball, though. That was the first score they'd gotten in some time. There was so many, 4 minutes with only 6 points. That was the difference, and Duke getting back into this was Gonzaga's offense going cold.
A little pressure on the inbounds. And Mark Few, the ball's right where he wants it in the backcourt, at least, with Josh Perkins bringing it up. Clark guarded by Delorier. Spins, no. Rebound White. Crunch time minutes for Jack White. Cam Reddish on the bench right now for Duke, with them down 3 in less than 3 minutes to go. Deflected away by Perkins. Still a lot of time.
Good recovery. 2-3 zone. Let Barrett touch it in the middle if you can.
Jones, another floater.
Wow, he has made big play after big play. Reminds you a little bit of his brother Tyus and the plays that he made in the national championship game against Wisconsin in that pick and roll action that Duke put the Badgers into.
Perkins still going. Left it a little short. Kispert the rebound and a fresh 30 for the Zags.
Well, another key offensive rebound for Corey Kispert.
Hachimura not getting those touches, Jay, you were calling for.
That's Zion Williamson on him.
Clark spins and draws the foul.
Delorier did such a good job for the second possession in a row, trying to make Clark shoot over him. Just make him make the tough two. He was there with his body, his hands were up, just put his arms down, brought his arms down, I should say, and when there's contact, that's going to be a foul on the defense every time.
NBA doubleheader coming your way at the conclusion of this one as Clark misses a free throw. Two-point game. Duke's only lead in this game was 2-0.
They can take the lead with a three. There's Williamson in the middle.
Tie game.
So hard to deal with. Not only can he score it in the middle, he can pass it as well. Mark Few with the play call. 4 flat with a high flat ball screen.
Nowhere to go, Norvell. Good D by White. 10 to shoot. Hachimura got a size advantage a bit on Barrett, and he scores.
Boy, great job to get the ball to the high post, look high-low, and Hachimura gets so wide on his post-ups. Back to man now for Gonzaga.
20 for Hachimura, a minute left in regulation.
Got the switch now, Barrett being guarded by Kispert.
Barrett for the lead. Delorier almost threw it out of bounds. Jones, and it's knocked out of bounds. Clark got a piece of it. Still Duke ball.
Yeah, Clark was able to block that. Tell you, a shot fake will go a long way right now. You catch the ball and give a shot fake, that'll get the defense to move, then you can attack. Zion Williamson can operate so effectively in the middle of his zone. One, because of his size and his ability to score in that area, but he can also pass it. And that is a big-time play in the middle of that zone, and then Hachimura gets wide and low and just takes advantage of the matchup with R.J. Barrett on his hip. Excellent recognition by Gonzaga in that high-low, and not enough pressure on Brandon Clark to take away his vision.
Duke and Gonzaga in a barn burner from the moment it began. Gonzaga has led almost the entire game. Got a 2-point lead right now with 45 seconds to go, and Duke's got the basketball with 23 on the clock. Do you think the Zags are coming out in a zone? How do you think Duke counters it? What are you looking for here?
Well, Duke will run the same set whether it's in man or zone, because their out-of-bounds plays are designed to run against man or zone. But I think what you'll see, at least what I can imagine, is something set up for Zion Williamson to get screened to the rim, and then a screen for the screener action for whomever screens for Williamson to get an opening on the perimeter.
Josh Perkins just grabbed his teammates on the way out of the huddle and twice just yelled at them, one stop, one stop.
They're going 4 across. So you have to expect that Williamson is going to get something going toward the basket, and then some action that goes counter to that.
Barrett in the corner. Spins. Blocked. Out of bounds. Still Duke ball. Another block by Clark.
Gonzaga challenging at the rim, both Hachimura and Clark.
5th block of the game for Brandon Clark.
And here's the alignment you usually see from Duke.
15 to shoot. Barrett and Hachimura got a piece of it.
Oh, what a great block by Rui Hachimura. Kispert stayed in front of him, made him pivot. That allowed Hachimura to come over from the weak side and block that shot. Boy, that was really well done by Corey Kispert. The credit is going to go to Hachimura for blocking it, but the setup for that block was Kispert staying in front and forcing R.J. Barrett to pivot and allowing Hachimura to get in there and block that shot. Boy, how big are these free throws?
Clark at the line, 2 for 3 today, came into the game at 50%. 2 coming.
Free throw blockouts.
And look who's back in.
Cam Reddish, the great three-point shooter, and there's nobody even on the lane for Gonzaga. A little bit surprising.
Missed them both.
You don't want to be in a hurry, but you do want to go as quick as you can. Leave yourself some time just in case you're not able to get the score here. Got the switch. Hachimura on Barrett.
Barrett driving, no. White with a follow. And Hachimura wraps it up in his foul. Boy, 2 pretty good looks for Duke. But they can't make it go.
Jack White with the rebound. Looked like there was some contact when he went up. But how about Gonzaga? Great challenge. Didn't see anything on the replay. But boy, this is Gonzaga 10, 15 years ago. I'm not sure Gonzaga would win a game like this with its defense. But Mark Few really changed the culture of both defense and rebounding. This is a program that's not just of, pretty offense. This is a gritty, tough, defensive team that is physical, and they will rebound with anybody.
Jack White fouls out. 2 free throws for Hachimura. 10.6 to go. Oh, boy. The Zags are keeping Duke in the game with missed free throws in the final minute.
Well, right now, Mark Few wants to talk to his team about if this is made and you have a 3-point game, I think they're going to want to foul. Take it down below 5. Slow the advance if they can. Take it down below 5. Do not allow Duke to get a 3.
The Zags have missed their last 3 free throws. 1 more coming for Hachimura. 71% on the season, 5 for 8 today. But even if he makes it, it's still a one-possession game. This has been something else.
What a fabulous game.
Oh, my.
You know, Maui never disappoints, in or outside the gym.
And if it's possible, inside the gym has exceeded outside the gym here this week with the level of this game. And look at these fans. I mean, they've come here for Thanksgiving, and they're having the time of their lives. And again, both of these schools have such great fan bases.
I wonder how many Tootsie Pops that Mark Few's father, has gone through. He carried a bag full of Tootsie Pops in here. There must have been 20 of them in there. Big free throw now for Hachimura to make it a 3-point game.
Well, there's one. He's still got at least one working.
He's been wearing those things out.
Duke does have a timeout remaining. Four straight missed free throws. Barrett driving, knocked away, and Gonzaga wins it.
Barrett drove in, got the contact, but could not get the foul call. And Gonzaga, with grit and determination, wins it with its defense. How about that?
They haven't had many opportunities to play the #1 team in the nation. This just their third. It's the first time they have beat a top-ranked team. And for Gonzaga, their second Maui Invitational Championship, won it back in '09, and they win it here in 2018. The Zags kept Duke in it with missed free throws, but the Blue Devils missed their last 7 shots from the field. And in just an extraordinary basketball game today, Gonzaga wins 89-87.
Could have been a drop-off right there to Javin Delorier, but drives right into Hachimura. And Hachimura went straight up, and then Clark looked like he blocked it. But a tremendous finish for Gonzaga. And I'll tell you what, they took the lead with their great offense, which was their best defense in the first half. And in the second half, down the stretch, when they could have folded, I thought Gonzaga's defense wound up winning this. Great win for Gonzaga.
Absolutely. What a great win for their program, and what a great exhibition of college basketball here in November. Rui Hachimura and the Gonzaga Bulldogs knock off Duke 89-87 in a thriller here in Lahaina.
Does this begin the talk of whether Gonzaga could beat the Cavaliers?
Speaking of the Cavaliers, they're hosting LeBron, and you can see it next. Got NBA Countdown coming your way. We got all kinds of good stuff still coming up here on ESPN. For Jay Billis, Kanoa Leahy, our outstanding production crew, Eric, Doug, everybody else. Awesome job by everybody. What a fun way to spend a week. Zags win it. Aloha from Maui.